Auto planners. So I'm going to do the review in video format again this week, so we'll see if it is as successful as last week's. I'm just going to pull up everyone's reviews, go through them one by one, but I really do encourage you all to stay and flick through all of the reviews so you can hear the information that I tell the other clients, just because there might be something in there that'll help you when you come to face the similar circumstance. Right, so let's start. First one up. Hold on. So first one up, Zoe Toyne. Down another pound this week. Still loving it. Still motivated. 1 week till the 6 week challenge. Yeah, fantastic results, mate. Chart's looking brilliant. You've adapted to it easily. All I would say is if you've got any questions, make sure you do ask them. Or any issues that you're facing. I've seen that you've submitted some food to the database. You obviously understand how that side of things works. You're managing with your chart and everything perfectly. So yeah, just keep up this pace, keep doing what you're doing. If you come across anything you need to hear about or ask about, make sure you do ask. Jen Lou, I haven't started yet, but I've updated my weight, managed to lose £2 somehow. Now, this might be funny because you haven't done anything, but there is what I said in a previous check-in. There is something that it's because it's a health-seeking mindset. So once you put yourself in a situation where you're actively looking to make changes, you subconsciously make changes anyway. So you might have been aware, seeing the other food check-ins from other people, the food posts, and just being a little bit more aware of what you're having. Or it might just be fluke. Weight fluctuates anyway. But let's get you started anyway. If you haven't started yet, use this next week on the run up to the 6 week challenge just to get it in the bag and start learning some of the features. Because last thing we want you to be doing is asking a million questions while you've got the workouts going on as well. We'd really you'd benefit from just knowing as much as you can right now, so it's easy and smooth flowing and not overwhelming. Leanne Simons, I don't know if you noticed, but I gave you a little cheeky like on one of your food posts outside of the group recently because I'd spotted it, and I was just letting you know that we still see those things. So make sure, even if you are having food that would be deemed off plan or whatever, you still track them. I haven't even read your review yet. So gained last week and didn't input, but then maintained this week. Not really a surprise, really stayed on track the beginning of the week, but then had a night away, so ate and drank what I wanted. That's probably the post that I interacted with. Yeah, so again, obviously you've had a big drop. This, I would say you need to pull it in a little bit and just be cautious of what you're doing, because we don't want to see you returning back up to the 72 kilo. You've made fantastic progress. You came down to 68.5, but I do know you've got a lot going on. So just be a little bit more cautious this week. Just pay attention to it. Start tracking it, even if it's going against the numbers. It's important that we see, because we'll be able to tell you exactly how far you're going over. If you share your food posts and your tracking posts with me, I'll be able to say, look, this is where you went wrong, and you can expect to see a pound gain or whatever. But yeah, other than that, you know what you're doing, and you were aware that you made the mistake. So the connection is there, and that's a good thing. Andy Smith, carb heavy week this week, so wasn't surprised scales fighting back a bit. A small gain for me this week just makes you more determined to work harder the next time. Still feeling the positive vibe, taking the wins and the losses is all part of the game. Absolutely right. Although, looking at your chart, mate, I would not even take that as a gain. If you look at the perfect line that you've got running through, you had the previous week a bigger than normal drop. So what usually happens is you see a little bit of catch up. You didn't see it the straight week after, but you've seen it this week. So when it drops really sharply out of character, there is usually a little bit of catch up there. So that's all you're seeing there. It's nothing to worry about at all. It's not what I would class as a gain. Again, if you've said you've had a carb heavy weekend, or a carb heavy week, sorry, additional water goes along with that. It's not a concern, mate. Things are absolutely fine. As I said to you privately, we're looking to change your settings soon, and we're going to be putting you on a lean gain phase. This will mean you have a higher calorie intake, and we'll be trying to push you towards more protein and just fine tuning your fats and your carbs. Nothing overwhelming, nothing dramatic, just step by step getting you into the right mindset. So just prepare yourself, because you and your partner will be on different ends of where you're going with things. But we'll do this after the 6-week challenge. So we're going to use the 6-week challenge to really, really, really get you as lean as we can, and then start bulking you up, because I know what you're aiming for, and unfortunately that's not achievable with a deficit, but we want you as lean as we can to achieve the best results when we flip it. Jenny Palmer maintained for me this week, but I didn't start tracking until Tuesday. Binged everything I saw last weekend. I feel 100% on track now, though, so looking forward to a loss next week. Again, what I've just said to Andy sort of is relevant to you. You've had a bigger than normal drop off, so I wouldn't. It's not a maintain in the sense that your weight has just held the same. It's just a maintain as in a week snapshot is not a long-term snapshot. So what you see like coming like this, over the long term it's coming down and coming down and coming down, but you're just seeing a little bits in between. Doesn't mean there was anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you've gained. It doesn't mean that you've stopped losing body fat. It's just what the chart that you're looking at. So yeah, carry on, keep it fine-tuned, keep focused. You've started this for a reason. Keep it locked in your mind, and there's a reason that you're doing this, and I guarantee you that that'll just continue the journey that it's on downwards. Kirsty Crawford, this week for me has been strict. I don't like that word, but I know what you mean by it. I've always come in bang on or just under my calories. I was consumed with worry because Mother Nature came to visit and knew she was coming, felt sluggish and bloated but kept on track. I've taken my photos again and uploaded this morning. It's been 2 weeks between the images, and I am astounded by the physical change for 2.5 kg loss. Those numbers really don't mean everything. Yeah, so obviously I've seen those photos that you're talking to, and yeah, you can see immediately the changes, especially on the rear photo. So I was sort of expecting to see this stand still or potentially again, with obviously the conversation we had in the inbox regarding, as you've put it, Mother Nature. So that's a very positive outcome, and long may it continue. All I've said to you previously, I was just make sure that you're not too strict, you're not too in too much of an excessive deficit, because it's no race. You need to understand there's no race to get to where you are. If it's to be long term and sustainable, putting yourself in a very tough position breaks any sustainability. It needs to be manageable, and once it's manageable, it's something that you can do repeatedly, and it's not an issue. Now, there's always hunger in a deficit, that always exists, but if them hunger levels are unbearable and we're having to force ourselves to go to sleep just to overcome them, that's not always advisable. There are different levels of depth or struggle that you need to go to, but early on in your journey, I don't feel like you need to be putting yourself under excessive stress and struggle. So just bear that in mind. We'll keep monitoring. Next week and the week after's weight will tell us dramatically if we need to make any adjustments. But brilliant. From here, from what we're seeing right now, brilliant. Oliver, 0.8 down. Now this is an interesting one actually, and people need to pay attention to this, because Oliver works very hard, well, smart in the gym. He turns up all of the time, gets his sessions in, no matter what. It's part of what he's doing. So, and his weight would probably, to some people, make them go, oh, I'm a bit disappointed, I've only lost X amount. But Oliver is very well educated on his data, so he will know that that's a positive progress, and that his training didn't affect that. So, he's not going to look back and say, I worked so hard and only lost so little. He knows full well that the training is there for one purpose, and his nutrition is there for the other. And that weight loss, 0.8, is still nearly 2 pounds. Is that right? 1 kilo, 2.2 pounds. Yeah. So he's still well within the average, the government recommended guidelines. So fantastic, exactly where we'd want it, and it's good to see, because obviously he's a competitive bodybuilder. So when you're all expecting 5 kilo losses every single week, it's not realistic and it's not going to happen. You get it early on when you start a weight loss mission because you're losing water and everything alongside of it. That's like a realistic weight loss. John. Now, obviously, John is a one-to-one client who I work with, same as Ollie's a one-to-one client who I work with outside of group mentoring. Most of you, there are a few others in here that are one-to-one clients, but just for the record, we have other things going on outside of this group. So I speak with them more often, I deal with them in Zoom calls, and we see each other in person, and I make sure I take photos and understand the changes they're going through. I spotted something within John's weight chart, and knowing that he'd just come off holiday, we had to make a quick adjustment to make sure things were on track for his comp season. So the results that you're seeing on chart there is exactly what I was hoping would happen. Basically, a bigger than usual drop off the back end of a holiday for someone who is looking for muscle retention is just a little red flag for me. Normally I wouldn't pay too much attention, but the scenario created just a little need to intervene, and that's what we've done. So again, John just takes on board whatever is asked of him and does it, and he's done it perfectly. Now we're going to run at that for one more week, and then we're going to go straight back into a deficit, and then we're in a better position because I know his training's picked up. So Joanne, morning guys, I've not got weighed, that's nice to see. Trying to step back from the scales, and if I'm honest, I normally get on them every day. I've been a bit run down with a sore throat, so not much exercise but plenty of sleep. I'm super excited for the start of the challenge. Now, people won't know, but Joe's another one-to-one client. We do additional work outside of this group, so Joe's check-in will be actually in her inbox as opposed to on here, but I'll still do the same. Obviously, I've given Joe some pre-starting tips and things that we need to adjust on, and it's great to see straight away one of the things has been highlighted. So that's all I'll say on here. Gemma Gibson, there's a small possibility that I had a major blowout and huge quantities of cake. It sounds like a normal day. I mean, I see what you wrote on there. It was your 40th. Yeah, like that's life is for living in these social events, of course. And to be fair, it's dropped. It's not gone up. I know it happened in the week in between by looks of that chart. But your chart is the most chaotic chart in the world. But yeah, my only input here is not to be. I don't want to be too intrusive, and I don't want to overstep the boundaries or anything. But your desire to achieve the results isn't driven by a major factor. I personally think you're quite happy where you are, and those numbers are all dotted around a similar weight. So one thing you can take note is, had you been tracking this, we would know your perfect maintenance. So had you tracked your calories and then multiplied them over 7 days and got an average, we would know your maintenance calorie number for when you do have a desire to get in and go straight into that deficit. We would work accurately from those numbers instead. So my only bit of advice would be to make sure you're tracking, because you're hitting almost perfectly a what would look like a maintenance chart. Beth Smith, 800 gram off this week, so same as Ollie. Taking my total to 13.3 kilograms. We'll add some before and after shots in below. Perfect week for me to be taking pictures after a week of lacking confidence in myself. Now, we all go through that, and it's an awful thing. The mind sometimes is the best tool we can have, but it's also our worst enemy in certain situations. You only have to, when you're feeling like that, you only have to open your charts or look at your photos, for example, and just reminded of the journey that you've taken on. Now, I know that you're not where you want to be at the end of this journey, but you're no longer where you were, and that needs celebrating every single week. You've come on fantastically, and you already know how proud I am of how you've adapted to this. It's never been a problem for you. I've never heard an excuse. You've asked the most sensible questions and never bounced back with anything against them answers. You've just said righto and gone and done it. And I think honestly, without saying too much, I think you're incredible, and I think you should just trust what you're doing, because the chart, the photos, and everything show you that you are capable and you are doing fantastic. Yeah. Chris Lockham stayed the same this week. Not got as many exercises in as I would have liked. Getting prepped for the 6-week challenge now. Again, I'll just point it out, Chris. Like what I've just said about Ollie, the weight loss is done through your diet. But looking at your loss from last week, looking at your previous 3 or 4 losses, you can see that last week's losses was more than normal. So this maintain is well on track. If you look at that chart, instead of it just going straight down like last week's, it's gone across. But if you follow the trend line, it falls in line perfectly. So that should reassure you that the training side of things isn't your priority. It is mainly there for retention of muscle and recomposition when we come to change your weight into the other direction. But I would take that as a win, mate, because it looks like it is falling in line with your previous 3 or 4 measurements. But keep it up, mate. Very, very consistent. One thing I will say is I'm loving seeing the food that you're eating, and you've been very consistent, and that is what will unlock that long-term journey. Sorry for the swearing. I'm trying my hardest to hold it back. Karen Percy. I have lost a little bit more this week. It's working so well for me at the moment. I think it is because I get plenty of motivation from this group and my family and my friends, which keeps me motivated. Yeah, honestly, Karen, this group, I say it regularly, but I'm in lots and lots of groups for calorie deficits, ketogenic diets, intermittent fasting groups, various diets that I just like to observe and see what people are doing, and the network that they're all in. And I'm not even being biased. This group is second to none. The amount of support each other gives, like on the comments and even on the check-ins, by the time I've even got to see them, some of you got 5, 6, 7 love hearts from other people, and that stuff goes a long way. Like Beth said, when she's having a day down and she's feeling like lack of confidence and all that, you go in that group, there's everyone backing you. Like it's the biggest cheerleading group in the world. It's mega. But anyway, back on track. Karen, you're going to have to stop making me look like I'm wrong, right? Because your results have just been consistently down and down and down, and I keep reassuring other people that it's not always like that. But yours are, and it's brilliant. Like, you got your certificate last week. Yeah, it's just constant, and just keep your head in this and take it wherever you want, because you've got the tool in your hand now and you're using it exactly how it should be used. You're listening to everything that we say, and you're just achieving the results. Big pat on your back to the family and friends as well as a support network. Sophie Lockham, really pleased with another loss this week, almost down to that 10 kg. Calorie banked for this weekend, meal out tonight. I have to say this is the longest I've been able to stick to a diet plan. I think probably because I don't feel like it is. I still eat what I like. Staying within my calories means I get the best of both worlds and lose weight while I enjoy food. Finally feeling like I am in control and have a better understanding of it all. Loving the auto planner. Now, if we could ever ask for a review, that is the kind of the review that we would be looking for, because that word for word is incredible. It'll make me emotional now. That is the goal of the auto planner, is to help people build relationships back with food, instead of demonizing food and having these bad opinions and views of what you can and can't have, and what is good and bad, and what is naughty and what is clean, and all of that. We want to remind people and give back hope to people that you can still lose weight even if you can't exercise, or even if you can't do this, or eat veg, or pick out lean meat, and all of that stuff. Because hope gets destroyed by a lot of the other diets out there, and if you haven't got hope, you won't succeed. So what you're seeing now is like confirmation again and again and again. We're working with science, we're working with evidence, and we know the thing that causes us to gain weight is a calorie surplus and energy surplus. Once you're no longer in an energy surplus, your body has to take the additional energy that it requires from elsewhere and use it. And that's what we're doing. We're not doing anything other than what humans were designed to do. But yeah, without getting too deep, because it's just a review, brilliant. Like again, you fall into the category. It's the same as Beth, the same as Karen. Well, the same as pretty much 90% of the group. You just took to it from the start without an issue. Like no issue. You just said, right, I'll do that, Martin. No problem. Right, I'll do that, Martin. No problem. Martin, why is this? And I took the answer and just took it on board and did it. And that should be the way people do it, because too many people have resistance and go, no, actually, I can't lose weight because of X, Y, and Z. And they carry these strong beliefs that are actually holding them back. They're ruining their chance of results because they're holding this belief as more powerful than what is actually true. So they do everything inside to like sabotage it. But you haven't. And you are in control, by the way. You are fully in control. This is not like a short-term thing, this is a long-term thing, and we will teach you when the time comes when we need to change things up. Hannah Garrett, maintained for me this week. I am happy with this as I went to Disneyland at the weekend and consumed lots of treats. I am ready and focused for the new week, definitely trying for a loss. I'd like to get to my finishing point for the last challenge before the new one starts. So yeah, you're well on track there to do that, mate. Obviously you had a holiday straight after the last challenge, and then you've been away to Disneyland as well, and these things happen. This is like the perfect time to move to a maintenance so you can enjoy life while dieting and weight loss isn't your primary focus, and then you can come back to it as soon as you're ready, switch it back on. It's literally having the power of a switch in your pocket to move with your lifestyle. This is why I tell everyone to be aware of what's going on. If you've got a lot of social events, there's no point trying to battle your hardest through it. The best way of progressing through a heavy social period is to move to a maintenance and not go over, because that way you're in control. You can still do your social events, and you're not gaining. So that is still progress. But yeah, brilliant as always, mate. Mark Toyne, up weight a little this week. Well, I was expecting that because you can't have a £10 loss only in £10 days and it be consistent. On the road and not processing my calories correctly. Right, okay. So the first thing I would say is that drop is in line. So you might see yours zigzagging up and down and up and down and up and down for weeks and weeks on end until you get that into a nice flow like the rest of people. Obviously your lifestyle, like you said, you're not processing your calories. I assume that means you didn't track properly or anything, but it's not an issue, mate. That doesn't mean you've gained weight. This is the hard thing about scale weight and data and everything. It just means that you're going to see the zigzag. It's not linear. It's not a dead straight process for everyone. Only Karen, for example, who keeps making me look like I'm lying. But no, it's more than likely just going to go up and down while you find your momentum. All I would say is just get it dialed in this week, mate. Make sure you're tracking everything in, even if it's going over or even if it's something that you think you shouldn't be having. Just bang it in the app as quick as you can and then crack on with your day. Morning. Oh, sorry. Tracy Moxon. Morning. I did my weigh-in on Monday again. I lost 1.5 pound and I'm going to be honest, I was disappointed. You can never be disappointed with 1.5. 1.5 pound is more than Oliver and more than Beth and things like that. If you're chasing bigger numbers, you're in the wrong game. You should not be chasing big numbers for weight loss. If it's to be sustainable and it's something that you can do and be in control of, we don't chase big numbers. You'll see it early on, but not for the long term. It needs to be between 1 and 2 pound, apart from the odd freak week that we get. Even half a pound is lost. Even if you stayed the same, it's progress because you didn't gain weight. So that is like the top end of great, what you've done there. I was disappointed, you felt it more in your clothes as well. So take away from the data and just focus on how the clothes were feeling for you, and that on its own is a positive. I don't think I'm using the app as well as I should, as I seem to put my food in at the end of the day. Okay, well, let's start getting your phone out when you're eating. So when you've got that meal in front of you and you're eating it, or you finished it, or you're making it, just grab the app out, put the stuff in. Do it there and then on the spot, because by the time you got to the evening, you'll know how far you're over or under. Obviously, we spoke about medical conditions, and the last thing I want is for you to be dramatically under. I would like you to be as near as your targets as you possibly can, so that we can be fully in control of this process. So your homework from now is to make sure you're actively taking the phone out of your pocket nearer your meal times and not leaving it till the end of the evening. If you can start doing that, even if you manage to do it 2 or 3 times this week, it'll be progress. And honestly, mate, 1.5 pound. The government recommended guidelines is between £1 and £2. So you bang on between £1 and £2. That's nothing ever to be disappointed about. Please don't chase bigger numbers. Otherwise, it's not sustainable. You will not keep it off. If you chase them 3, 4, 5 kilos every single week, you're doing something that you will not be able to maintain when we get you to the weight that you want to be. Billy, I was expecting this because of obviously what we spoke about in the week with things going on at home or outside of the group at least. I mean, I don't know the situation, so it's hard to say, but that's just to maintain on your previous week. So just be a little bit more. I don't know what your situation is, so it's very hard for me to give you advice if I say just be more cautious to this and you've got something crazy going on at home. But just be more aware of your food choices, just be more aware of what's working for you and what's working against you. I know that you want to do this, and I know you've made incredible progress, and I know what you're capable of. So just keep it in the back of your mind that, hold on, I don't think this is actually a good idea, or this is great, I'll do this, and then I'll go deal with what I'm dealing with. Good luck, and if you do need our help, additionally, obviously reach out. Nick Wilkes, another week at maintenance, was very much needed this week. I think the next week I'm ready to get back into a deficit. Weight is slightly less than last week. Yeah, so that's what we would see in a deficit. That's what in a maintenance. That's what I've said previously to people. Maintenance is specifically you'll see when you flick it back on, you'll see your weight go up a little bit, and then it sort of dots around the same weight. Usually 1 or 2 kilos about the same weight. And it's perfectly fell in line with what you was doing outside, and you needed the extra breather. That's perfect what we should do in, like I said, in a high social environment. Social doesn't necessarily mean birthdays, doesn't necessarily mean whatever. It just, when you've got a lot more going on that takes priority over weight loss, then we just move to a maintenance. You're basically just saying, I'll put that on pause for now, give yourself more calories so you don't have to worry and you're not feeling hungry while you're dealing with what's going on. And now, if you feel ready to go, mate, you go for it. Switch that switch when you're ready and jump back into that deficit mindset. Natalie Spence-Godney, kept scales on kilogram now. Busy week battling migraines and lack tracking, but was conscious what I ate and drank. Got 1 week left to get my mojo on. Dreading it, but looking forward to the 6-week challenge. Mate, you do fantastic on a 6-week challenge. You already know what's coming up, and with you're very, very active when it comes to it. So don't worry about it at all. I think you'll smash this one out the bag. As soon as that mindset is locked in and you're on with it, you know full well what you're capable of. So yeah, just smash it out. Your weight didn't look too bad, obviously. Again, you had a big drop off on the first one and just a bounce back. So this week, just tighten the belt a little bit. Make sure you're tracking at every opportunity. Keep sending them foods to the database. We'll keep building it up. And just honestly, just get your head locked in for this week. Also, you could flick to a maintain if you want this week. If you know full well that you're starting a challenge, you don't want to be like putting too much pressure on when you've got 6 weeks of everything coming up. So you just maintain for this next week if you need to, and then flick that switch when we go to the 6-week challenge. Sophie Chapman, another good week. So I had a message from Sophie before reading this, so I'm expecting a good one. Another good week this week. Bought some dresses this week for a wedding and races. Yeah, there we go, in a size 8. Yes, I said it, size 8. I haven't been that size for years. To say I'm buzzing is an understatement. Nearly at a 20 kg loss as well. It's getting closer. Yeah, fantastic, Sophie. To say that we nearly put you on maintenance the other day and you was like, no, I'm going for it. Perfect. Congratulations, and what a feeling as well, mate. Nice work. That's it. Have I come to the end? I'll make sure I haven't missed anyone. Oh no, that's everyone. That's your reviews done. It did take a little bit longer actually. It's nearly 30 minutes long. I encourage you all to make sure you skip between other people's because there are charts, especially if you just go look in the comments and see whose review that might be of interest to you, people that have gained or lost or whatever. I know it's a long video, but there are little nuggets of information that will be beneficial to everyone through each check-in, because everyone's check-in is a little bit different, but there's always a little bit of nugget or a little bit of information that'll be beneficial to you. Keep the food coming into the database. We're building a bigger database. We crossed over 1,300 items on our database now, all user submitted. That means our items are submitted by you guys from supermarkets that are local to us, so not pointless stuff that we aren't using. This is actual items based upon what our users want. Keep sharing your food in this group and the free group. So the free group has come alive lately. We're seeing other people interacting with us in the free group, and that's really what we want. We want to show the world, we want to show everyone what our message is and how we are getting people in shape, losing weight and maintaining it, eating food that they love and enjoy, instead of saying you can't have this and you can't have that and you're going to get sins for this and whatever else. Any questions, as always, there'll be a Q&A on Monday, so that'll just pop up in the group and you can add any questions on there and I will jump on and answer them all for you. But again, well done everyone, another successful check-in. Peace!